Introducing that guy.
Not today.
Where are Marlene and, oh, okay.
That was a couple of
Where is Mr. Woody? And Commissioner May?
I'm sure he'll come in. I think he's out there.
Okay. There he is. Okay, you ready? Good afternoon. I'm Janice Gilley, Escambia County Administrator, Escambia County, Florida. With me today is public safety. I was looking at you. Sorry. Eric Gilmore, the emergency manager, Commissioner Lumen May, Commissioner Doug Underhill, Sheriff David Morgan, Mayor Grover Robinson, President Gulf Power President Marlene Santos, and ECUA Executive Director Bruce Woody. We're giving you our afternoon updates. Again, we continue to acknowledge the citizens that are out there still working on repairing and recovering from this storm. We also want to recognize our first responders that are on the front lines. We also, each of us will talk about different employees that we have that are out there working on the recovery. As we've mentioned, we are still continuing to work closely with our state and federal partners. Each day we do have different communications. Today we've had conversations with Congressman Matt Gaetz, Senator Doug Broxson. We've also had Secretary T-Boat come in and work on some things related to transportation, and also Jared Moskowitz. One of the things that Director Moskowitz asked me to mention are some of the things that Florida Department of Emergency Management is doing on behalf of Hurricane Sally in our area. One of the things they are doing is they're working closely with utility crews to provide. They have 50 trucks with light towers on them to support power restoration efforts and traffic movement in the overnight hours. One of the other things they're working on is they are coordinating with Florida Department of Highway Patrol to provide some enforcement escorts for fuel trucks and utility crews as they move throughout Escambia County today. We are asking that our residents please still stay off the roads to the extent that you can unless it's an emergency. We do have crews out that are doing what we call cut and toss. That is working to clear the roadways so that you're able to do that. In Escambia County, we've had the opportunity to clear through 300 roads and open those roads since about 11 a.m. on Wednesday. We have a couple of hundred of our employees out there. Those also include corrections officers, inmate crews. We also have groups that are already going out and doing sign replacements, replacing stop signs, one-way directional signs, yield signs, those kind of signs in the areas. We are asking all of our emergency critical employees to continue to work. They will be working throughout the weekend on your behalf, and ECAT and the libraries will be closed on Saturday. They will not be operating, but on Monday we will have all Escambia County employees report in for work. We have been continuing to ask you as well, please do not call 911 unless it is a life-threatening situation at this time. We do have our Citizen Services line, which is 850-471-6600, and we'll be able to take your calls there. 211 is also available from United Way, as they provide you they can help you with resources for clothing, medical, prescription, and financial assistance. And at this time, I'd like to ask Eric Gilmore to come forward and give a management report.
Eric Gilmore, Escambia County Emergency Manager. Update report on your pods. So we are going to go, from this morning, we was going to have 5 pods with the state-sponsored pods, and this afternoon we've negotiated 2 additional pods. So we're operating 2 additional pods that we didn't know about up till 30 minutes ago. So the 5 pods that we had additionally talked about or had to prep to go for. We did receive the pod packs at the locations at the 5 sites. We're seeing commodities show up. Most of the sites are up and ready to go for 8 o'clock tomorrow morning. I still have 2 sites that I'm missing either food or I'm missing water at those other sites. And now I'm trying to get the commodity in for the other 2 sites, the additional sites that got stood up this afternoon. So we'll have those pod sites out for you this afternoon. Absolutely, by 5 o'clock is my goal, is what I'm pushing with the team. So you know where to go tomorrow at 8 o'clock, where you can go get your food and water.
You can't tell us now?
Well, I can't address with me, but I can tell you the areas. So we're going to be at both Barrier Islands. We're going to be both Barrier Islands. We're going to be in the north end of the county in Sentry. We're going to be south of here toward Brent Ballpark. And then we're going to be, my last location is, what's that, 9 Mile Road. Thank you. And then my 2 additional sites, I don't have any product or commodity, so I'm waiting to hold those sites right now, if you don't mind. And then as soon as I get the first pod pack on the ground, it's already in the county. The pod pack, I understand, is in the county, but I hadn't seen it arrived yet. So I want to make sure that it gets here before we announce those last 2. Other than that, we have co-located shelters today. We did shut down Success Academy. We had small population in it, and we've co-located that with the Bay Center. So all persons in those shelters have gone to the Bay Center. And as of noon tomorrow, the Red Cross will totally take over that shelter and help us transition to a long-term host shelter. That's all I have, and I'd like to introduce Commissioner Doug Underhill.
Thank you very much. Did you just skip over Commissioner May?
I can't believe that.
Can't believe he did that to you.
Unbelievable.
So,
Again,
all right, everybody, you'll have to put up with me before you get to Lumen. I know everyone's here from Lumen. Very good day out on the southwest sector. We were able to cover an awful lot of territory. U.S. Coast Guard completed their air helo rescue and urban search and rescue. That's FTF 5. Was able to make their initial points of contact on Innerarity Island as well on Perdido Key. I had the privilege of meeting with them at my house today. Consummate professionals. In addition, the Humane Society is out doing their work, providing the additional services necessary for our fur babies and other non-human residents out in the southwest sector. Civil Air Patrol continues to be out giving additional support. In every single one of these conversations that I've had with these first responders across the board, every time they tell me what they're doing, and then I ask them, what can we do for you? Each one of them, to a man and woman, has said the same thing. Commissioner, please get the citizens off the street so that we can get the work done. Now, obviously, we're not going to order you to get off the street. You know better than anybody else what your family needs. But please be very, very diligent about trying to stay home, off the street, and out of the way of these first responders so that they can get their work done and get us back to a point where we can take care of ourselves. That's all that I have. I'm going to go ahead and introduce Sheriff David Morgan, and so you're going to have to wait a little bit. No, I'm going to go ahead and bring Lumen up. Yeah. So Lumen, go ahead.
good to see you, Commissioner.
Good to see you as well.
First of all, again, I want to encourage citizens to continue to realize that we are in a pandemic. I've said that each time that I've had the opportunity to speak publicly, to please follow the Center for Disease Control guidelines and wearing your mask and practicing social distance. But listen, this morning I was a little bit irritated, but this evening I'm really relieved. And one, I do want to thank Rick and Marlene. I want to thank our power company for hearing the cry and aggressively making more aggressive moves and turning on the power of us. I tell you, citizens are appreciating seeing the trucks in their neighborhood. I also want to thank Congressman Matt Gaetz and Director Moskowitz for setting up and sending 2 more pods and understanding that the citizens who not only need food and water, but people on medication, they need ice. People have medication that saves their lives in diabetics and other infirmities that affect them. They do need this ice, and we're glad that these 2 pods that will be set up in District 3, I'm very proud to say that, will have ice per Congressman Gaetz. So I do thank our delegation, and I thank all those that are engaged. And I want to thank our emergency management and our staff today for realizing that we have to prioritize citizens at every extent. And so again, thank you all for being here, and we look forward to making it out of the situation that we're currently in. Sheriff Morgan.
Thank you. Well, what you said, Commissioner May, but could you say that same speech and get my power turned on? Okay, so
Well, I'm sorry.
just saying, sheriff doesn't have any power either.
What district do you live in?
Don't ask me that question. So. Anyway, folks, on a little more serious note, the scams have started. Just got off the phone. Miss Gilly took a call from Superintendent of Schools, Malcolm Thomas. Someone's calling around saying in order to assist the schools and to get the schools open, we need you to send money to. And so that's one. The other one is for all of our fur friends. You've got folks making scams about, the Humane Society, etc. Here's what I want you to say when you get one of these scams, okay? I want you to tell them to call 436-9620. That's Central Dispatch. Tell them you don't contribute any money until it's cleared through this number. And that's the sheriff's office number. That's Central Dispatch. So if you get a call for a contribution, you tell them, I'll contribute to you after you get through the clearinghouse. And the clearinghouse is at 436-9620. We would love to receive that call so we can get information on how to trace that call back and pass it on to the appropriate folks. We're still concerned about, obviously, looting. So if you would, we're going to continue with our curfew, through the weekend. We'll address it next week. We are lessening, after discussions with the mayor's office, on the times for the curfew. We're going to do midnight to 6 in the morning probably, but more specifically, I'm about religious services we have starting, that people will have to be out after sunset, etc. And so we're obviously not going to arrest anyone practicing their religious beliefs. The way the curfews work, in case anyone asked you, is we're looking for individuals, whether in groups or individually, that are out in places where they shouldn't be at, midnight, 12, 1, 2 o'clock in the morning, meaning that you have no reason for being there. And so we try the soft approach, and we ask the folks, do you know you're violating curfew? There's a curfew in effect signed by the county, so, we're going to ask you what you're doing out here. If you're going to work, you work a midnight shift. If you're going to religious services, if you're going to check on an elderly parent, etc., those are rational reasons that we will allow you to proceed on. Now, we may back check on you, let me tell you that, because, we're not that silly as to just take one answer and move on. But we are not out there. The intent is to not arrest people for violating the curfew. So we'll exercise a tremendous amount of common sense. But I will tell you, we're also getting calls back from our citizens thanking the deputies for being on the street. If you live in a community that has no street lights, and you know that 1, 2 o'clock, 3 o'clock in the morning, there's a cruiser going down your street, trust me, that will make you feel real warm and fuzzy to know that they're out there at night when your alarm system's not working and everything else on your home that you normally have is not working. But law enforcement is out there patrolling the streets. So, hang with us. We're getting better and better every day. Gulf Power is going to tell you that I think 100% is going to be turned on today, right? No?
We hope.
Well, okay, I tried. Worked for Lumen, it's not working for me. Thank you.
Well, I turned off my phone.
Oh, did you?
Grover Robinson, Mayor of the City of Pensacola, and certainly, Sheriff, I think seeing Pensacola Police Department in your neighborhood, it looks like 4th of July, it's red, white, and blue, but they certainly will be in all the neighborhoods as well, making sure those of you, especially who don't have power, those neighborhoods, that you have law enforcement, you have safety. We do want to say, certainly we understand today is Rosh Hashanah, and for those of us, we have several synagogues in the city of Pensacola. We'll be working with each of them. We've been in communication with rabbis there and staff to make sure that they can have those services this evening. I think most of them will be online, but we are working with them, and we will relax the curfew and related to that for Rosh Hashanah. So we certainly understand and we appreciate you working with us, but we want everybody to be able to celebrate their high holy days. So we totally understand that. Want to get back to a few things that we've done since this morning. One of them is the biggest, I think, to announce that the airport is open. So thank you, Gulf Power, for helping us get the tower up and running. So we do have airport now is back open. Again, from standpoint of Pensacola Energy or your natural gas, my power's out. Your power may be out, but your gas is on, Sheriff. So we've got you should with Pensacola Energy. You could cook and have a nice warm shower right now. So, but Pensacola Energy is certainly there, looking. They're able to get their stuff out there. We've completed all of our stuff. But if you have a problem, if you end up smelling natural gas or have some kind of an issue, please call 811. Those are certainly things that we want to hear from you and get those reported as fast as possible. Let me talk to you real quick. Sanitation, black cans. So with Mr. Woody, he's got green cans. I've got black cans. Black cans. We will have pickup on Monday and Tuesday next week, as well as Thursday, Friday. If you are normally a Monday, Tuesday route, you will be picked up on Monday and you will be picked up on Wednesday. If you are a Wednesday, Thursday route, you will be picked up on Tuesday and you will be picked up on Thursday. So again, those are the days you're going to get 2 pickups next week. Black can only. We're not doing recyclables. We're only doing garbage. We will be doing 2 pickups for you next week. Again, right now we had over 250 trees that were down either in roads or a variety of other places. We're out picking those up. We have people already hired doing that. We will begin garbage pickup, your debris pickup on Monday. So we're all ready to hit the ground. Also, all city workers will report back to work on Monday. Check in with your director. You may have a different assignment than your natural place of work, but we will all be back at work on Monday. And I can't say you necessarily will be in your location, but you will be working. We will be helping get everything taken care of. These are a few things that are going on, and most importantly, I think the question came up earlier about the disaster declaration. I can tell you I worked very hard after we left here. I called our people in Washington that represent us. They were working it. They found out the state was still waiting on getting the information from Escambia County, which based on the totals that were sent, it seems pretty evident that we're going to get over the $30 million from the state of Florida, so they moved forward. My understanding is people I talked to at the White House, they were looking for it and they believed it would get executed as quickly as possible. So we are looking to get that executed as well. So we're staying on top of all these things, and I think hopefully Mr. Woody's going to tell you some things that are going on for ICE.
I do have one correction. The 811 is call before you dig.
Oh,
not
okay.
to report.
Okay.
So can you say that?
Absolutely. 811 is call before you dig, not for that. So that's what we had.
If you smell natural gas, it's 474-5307 or 911.
There you go. So don't call 911. Call 477. 474.
5307.
5307. So again, we definitely want to make sure you get the right place if you have a problem. Again, we think all natural gas, when I talked with Don Suarez, he thinks all of our natural gas emergencies have taken place, but if something else comes up, we definitely want to know and make sure you have the right number. But we are working on water and ice, so I'll let Mr. Woody tell you about that, and we're continuing to work to make sure you have the things you need. Thank you.
I can dig anywhere I want to in my yard. I don't have gas.
Good afternoon, Marlene Santos, President of Gulf Power. So my comments this afternoon will be very similar to what I talked about in the morning, but I will give you an update on the progress that we have made on restoration, which has been really good. So our team has already restored nearly 60% of the customers that were impacted by Hurricane Sally. At this time, we have restored service to more than 160,000 customers, and that leaves us with less than 125 customers that are out of power, and most of those are in Escambia and Santa Rosa counties. We've made great progress. I mentioned to you earlier today about that we were pretty much finished with our substations and getting those back on. Today we plan to finish up our critical infrastructure customers. You heard about the airport. That's an example of a critical infrastructure customer. So with our focus sort of being already put aside, we have been today and will continue now to focus on those what we call those mainline feeders, the power lines that feed the communities, the main roads. So you'll start seeing, lights coming back up in the areas that you need to go do your groceries, to get your medicine, all those types of things that are get gas, those very important things for the community to have. And once we do that, then we start going into your local neighborhood. So that will sort of come next. So that's the process. It's really important for everybody to understand that, but that's how we do restoration, and that's the way that we do it. It's because it is the way that it gets the most customers on the quickest. So that has been our goal. Let me tell you about estimated times of restoration. There's nothing new here from the morning, but I'll go ahead and repeat that. So even though many customers will get their power back on before this date, we expect that 95% of our customers will be restored by the end of Tuesday, September 22nd. We also understand that you want more detailed information because, you don't want to just think that it's on Tuesday. So tomorrow night, we will be able to start providing more detailed information as to when can you get power earlier than that date, that Tuesday. So which customers will get power on Sunday, which on Monday, which on Tuesday. So we will be putting that out on Saturday evening. And we'll be sharing that through gulfpower.com, through our app, social media, and we'll obviously do a press release talking about all of that. So, our crews are mostly here in Escambia and Santa Rosa. They're working through the night. We are here and we're 7,000 strong. So, all of that, none of that has changed. So I please tell our customers to continue being focused on safety. That's just really very, very important. We still have down lines. We still have flooded areas. But make sure that you're using generators appropriately. Just really important. And if you want to help us, you heard about the traffic, that's really one of the biggest things that you can do is stay off the street so our trucks can go through quickly so that we can get them to work and be productive. Please don't talk to our crews. And at this point in the restoration, there is no need for you to report your outage. We have smart meters, so we know that your power is out. So stay safe and just know that we're here for you 24/7 to ensure that we restore your power safely and as quickly as possible. Thank you.
Good afternoon. My name is Bruce Woody. I'm the Executive Director of the ECUA. A common theme that has been mentioned several times this afternoon and will continue to be mentioned over the following days. Please be very mindful of not going out and about unless you really have to. The traffic on the streets, long lines for gas, et cetera, are an impediment to the civil servants and utility providers that are trying to renew your service and get things going back together again. So please be mindful of not being out and about if you don't have to. Water conservation is a request I would like to also reiterate. While we have good system pressures and volumes throughout the system, on the sanitation side, we're still continuing to work with our partner Gulf Power to provide utility power back to all of our lift stations. As consumption goes up, flows to the wastewater treatment system increase as well. While we have no problems at our treatment plants. In fact, Bayou Marcos, our last plant, is now back on utility power. Thank you very much, Gulf Power. It's still a challenge out in the collection system. So we'd like to keep water use down, so please conserve water over the next few days as our system continues to come back on service. Our phone service still remains down at our customer service center, so the phone number you can contact to try to relay information if you have questions, and please use that sparingly so that we can properly use our resources, is the Citizen Information Line at 850-471-6600, 471-6600. In our water system, we now have continue to have 18 wells operational. We have 3 more that are probably going to come online for the end of the day. Pensacola Beach is in full service. Perdido does have service, albeit with low pressure. The important notice really and my main point of information this afternoon is regarding our precautionary boil water notice. Right now it is system-wide across the entire service area. We had to do that preliminarily because of the frequency or the number of breaks there were throughout the system. This afternoon we've won approval from the Florida Department of Environmental Protection on how to go through our sampling protocol to bring the system back online without the boil notice being out there. The
Do we know when the boil notice will be lifted?
That's exactly what I'm
Okay.
in the process of describing. What we do in a normal basis, on a monthly basis, is take a series of almost 186 samples across the entire community over a period of a month on a rotating basis in order to ensure your water quality. That's our control and quality assurance protocols. What we're going to do to bring it back online is conduct that level of sampling across the entire system, except not in a month, instead over a course of 48 to 72 hours. So we've broken up into teams. We're going through, and we've already begun that process. I want to thank the Sheriff's Department, who will be assisting us to go that many places in that short a period of time. Again, that also relates back to the earlier request to please stay off the roads if you can. We have important work, as well as other utilities as well, to get that volume of work done in that short a period of time. Again, the goal is to lift that boil water notice for the entire community. We have to do that twice over this next 72-hour period. Undoubtedly, with that many tests, there will be occasional retests that will have to occur as well. So there may be a few isolated places we have to sample a second time and may have to remain a little bit longer on a boil notice. We'll let that information out as we become aware of it. On the sanitation side, again, today what we collected was Wednesday's normal collection day. Those are ECUA's green cans, trash only, no recyclables, no yard trash. Tomorrow we'll be collecting Thursday and Friday's routes on the same day. Again, trash only, no recyclables, no yard trash. We're working closely with the county, make some determinations on how that's done, and we have to be mindful of FEMA reimbursements and all that's involved in that. One last request on sanitation. If you have a can out or have had a can out, we're finding difficulty in emptying several of them due to the volume of rainwater that's in those cans. If you can assist us by emptying the rainwater, that would be helpful. Some of those are too heavy to lift. Thank you very much. Next is Janice Gilly.
Thank you. I do want to announce for the record that I've just been in communication with Congressman Gates and Director Moskowitz, and also want to thank Senator Jeff Brandes from South Florida as a partner, that we are going to open up those sites with ICE at the Brownsville Community Center and as well as the Wedgewood Community Center. Those two urban core inner city neighborhoods have been adversely affected and are in dire need of help, and many of the citizens have reached out. And so I do want, again, to thank the Senator Broxton, especially Congressman Gates, for making it happen. And so we do have the word that they're going to be there opening up tomorrow. So thank you so much. Ms. Gilly.
So as we usually end these, I always like to speak about asking folks to please be careful when you're operating generators. We did speak this morning about the fact that Hurricane Laura that just happened not too long ago had 16 fatalities. 7 of those fatalities were related to carbon monoxide. So please, please, please keep an eye out whenever you're using your generators. Also, make sure that you keep an eye out whenever you're using your chainsaws. Those are the things that we do typically see accidents from post-storm whenever you're doing your own recovery in your homes, in your area. The other thing is we have mentioned that United Way is continuing to take donations to help those that have been impacted by Hurricane Sally. But please also be very, very aware of these scams. Sheriff has mentioned a couple of them to you. I assume there are many more that we aren't currently aware of. So please be very, very, very cognizant of anyone asking you for funds personally. Okay? Any questions?
Commissioner May, could you give us a little background on your conversation with Matt Gates and Secretary Moskowitz?
Well, it was very pleasant. Today we reached out to the congressman as it relates to the declaration and some things that I've seen with some of the churches feeding and just not adequate supplies, particularly in the pockets of poverty and in the urban core. And the congressman was not quite aware of it and got us in touch with the director, and they made it happen. And for that, we're very grateful.
And you said there's going to be ice there?
Absolutely.
And it'll be open to the city residents because there's not a site for the city. Will that be open for city residents?
Would y'all like to be open to y'all?
Absolutely. We would look at that. Is that? I mean, I think we talked earlier this morning how important Brownsville is for a location. I mean, we'd love it. It could have been Fricker Center, but we understand. We'll go to Brownsville. Either one of those would have been perfect. But for the west side, the city has been absolutely advocating that there had to be another location on there. So that from the city standpoint, we had to have something that was a little bit closer to the city, and I appreciate Commissioner May working to make that happen. So that's absolutely from that standpoint. And I assume all of them. If I go to Brent, I'll also get ice there and everything else. So that's good. So,
I don't know about it. I didn't say that, Mr. Mayor. I'm saying those two sites.
So again, as far as we look at working with that, I think that's a good one for the west side of the Pensacola, city of Pensacola. We're glad to see the Brownsville site open.
Yeah. And I would be remiss if I did not, Mr. Mayor, thank you. In the meeting today, you were very adamant about Brownsville, and as it connects Commissioner Underhill's district with my district, as well as the city with the county, that's a strategic location, and so you were very adamant, and so we do also thanks to the mayor as well. But for the record, that's not limited to people from just those neighborhoods. Any citizen of Escambia County can go to any site that's stood up. And so it's not with restrictions geographically for the neighborhood that you reside in.
Except it's going to be tough for you to get to Pensacola Beach.
Well, they got generators and ice machines on the beach.
Sheriff, you mentioned the curfew going from midnight to 6 a.m. Is that starting tonight?
Saturday night. We're asking the county to look at that. I think you got to run it through the county attorney, correct? Because we have to change the ordinance that was signed to change the times from 7 to 6 in the morning, from midnight to that.
So for tonight, it's still 7?
It's still 7, yeah. Except for, again, folks, common sense, religious, if you have a reason to be out, okay, we're not locking people in their homes. We're not arresting people for being out past curfew. If you have a legitimate reason for being out of your home, this is not an Escambia County lockdown. So use some common sense. If you have a reason to be out, if you're going to get a prescription, at one of the all-night pharmacies, you're not going to be, stopped or harassed, if you will, for going and getting a prescription. Okay, we're looking for those people who are out at times of the night and early in the morning who have no reason to be out.
Okay. Is there any update on the missing person?
No, and I want to, I'm glad you brought that up. I want to remind everyone, that is a Coast Guard assist. That is not our case. That is in the Coast Guard's purview. That is their case. What they asked for was an assistance of a dive team. We had a dive team available, and we're going to lend assistance to the Coast Guard. So if you have any further questions on that missing kayaker, you need to contact the Coast Guard. Okay?
Jim, I would just real quickly say, from the city standpoint, we have, I think, 3 Jewish facilities in the city of Pensacola. We've been in communication, Chief Leiter has with them, and about the fact that we would not be pressing anything with the curfew tonight, as far as that's concerned.
Bruce, on the 48 to 72 hour testing, has that started? Does it start tomorrow?
The test has already started. We'll probably get upwards of 72 of them done before midnight tonight, another 108 tomorrow, and then we'll replete the entire process the next day.
Will it be a rolling thing to where you'll be able to release certain areas as the test results come back, or will it be all or nothing?
It will not be all or nothing, but depending on how test results come back, it'll be probably very large areas with a few exceptions. We're attempting to bring the entire service area back. Those areas that remain on a notice will get individual descriptions for because of needing to retest, or if we have an ongoing break or additional breaks. Keep in mind that although we've done a wonderful job in finding and isolating and or repairing our large breaks, there are numerous small breaks and service line breaks and things like that that are still out there, and we are continuing to find and will continue to serve over the next several weeks.
So when was the soonest that someone we might be able to get a boil notice being lifted? Sunday, Monday?
Probably Tuesday.
Tuesday?
Probably Tuesday.
All right. If you have any more questions, I'd be more than happy to take them.
Okay, thank you.
Well, I'm just trying to get the job.